We don't know them all, but we sure as heck owe them all. I don't know who made that quote, but it's a good one. So today is Red Friday. Please remember everyone deployed. We have people all over the planet doing inherently unsafe jobs. We have what's going on over in Europe, where we've been since 1945. In some countries, not until the past couple of years. Poland for one. But we're watching what's going on in Ukraine, training with our new NATO allies and old, doing what we have done for decades. And staring down the bear, which is something that's fairly new over the past 15 years or so, maybe a little bit longer. But what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, and excuse me, North Korea has lost troops and they've had some POWs. Some interesting intel has come out of that about their conditions and about how they train. They're not as badass as I think we thought in ways. Anyway, still wouldn't underestimate them. They did give us a good handful to handle in the Korean War in the 50s. So we'll go with anticipate they're not a weak people, just not very technologically advanced. So slide down to the Middle East, still a wash, rinse, repeat. I have no information on the guy that I reported, that the captain in the Indiana National Guard that had died of a non-combat related injuries. Still don't know if it was a heart attack or an unaliving oneself. The situation in Syria, still about the same. Israel and Hamas have come to a ceasefire agreement, but has not instituted it because Hamas keeps trying to add stuff to it, and Israel's like, nah, you got enough out of this. And after listening to what's in that agreement, I tend to agree. It's got to be two-sided, otherwise you end up with the Treaty of Versailles and the war never ends. So it's a ceasefire anyway, so it wouldn't bring total peace to the region anyway. But it would stop the fighting and allow the Palestinian people a chance to take a breath and recover and potentially move on to peace. Slide down to the Houthis in the Red Sea area. They're still doing the same thing, putting the kitchen sink on the end of a rocket and firing it, and coming close to hitting stuff, and on occasion hitting stuff. And we continue to pound their positions as well, with precision strikes by the 19 countries that are involved in the situation. Slide down to sub-Saharan Africa, wash, rinse, repeat there, trying to, and this is something I wasn't really paying attention to, but we're trying to thwart some Chinese influence in Africa with their road and, now that I want to say it, I can't remember it. It's basically roads, ports, infrastructure, stuff that they try to put in there and end up taking it over monetarily at least. Road and never mind. I'll remember it. I'll post it maybe. But also the humanitarian aspect of it, trying to take care of the people over in Africa that are suffering through famine, starvation, and bad governmental policies. So slide over to the Pacific. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. China, I mentioned 2 weeks ago that they have a style of America-class LHD, which is our helicopter carrier with the well deck. Some of them have well decks, not all of them do, but have the well deck where they can slide the air cushion vehicles out with the tanks and troops and supplies and get them into shore. They're building those, and they also just showed off a barge system, kind of like our Mulberry Harbor from D-Day. It's pretty ingenious, and I'm not surprised somebody brought it back because it does work. And we actually use something very similar, trying to bring humanitarian aid into Gaza. It's a boat that has a long bridge on it that can go to shore, and then it becomes where another ship can pull in and offload their equipment, and it can drive down the bridge, and it takes away the problem of having to have a landing craft per se. You can bring in ferries. You can bring in like the Newport class LST with the ramp on the front. You drop the ramp, put it onto the bridge, and then you can ferry your people in. So that's something that China is now building, which makes it easier to do what they want to do with Taiwan. So interesting development there. Another side note with technology stuff, the Australians are supposed to be buying either U.S. Virginia class submarines, and this is all in the news, I'm not breaking any OPSEC, or Astute class UK submarines. Problem is with the U.S. is our shipbuilding capabilities, and we're supposed to build the first 2 or 3 here from what I read of the agreement. We're running into problems with that because of shipbuilding capacity, and this is something that Hegseth brought up in his confirmation hearing. I know people don't really necessarily like Pete Hegseth, but he did bring up a good point that our shipbuilding capabilities are not what they were once, and they are definitely not what we need them to be now. So it's something that we got to look at, because now it's affecting what we're trying to do for our allies. So important things coming up over the next 4 to 20 years, not just in the next 4 with the guy coming on board now. It's going to be a continuous situation that we've got to work to rectify, because you can't just fix it in 1 year or 4. You have a workforce to train that we no longer have. We have facilities that we need to either open back up and revitalize or make all new ones. There's a lot going on with this. So I'm going to let that go there. I'm not even sure where we're at. 6 minutes. Holy crap. All right. Did not mean to do that. I talk. Anyway, we'll get out of here. But for the actual message of the day for our fellow veterans, to make sure that they stick around, is this has been day 1495, 22 for 22. Please stay in your fight and do not quit. If you feel like unaliving yourself, please tell yourself not today, and tell yourself that as many times as you need to make sure that you stay here. You've got this. You can do this. And that is because you have survived 100% of your worst days thus far. So please keep you and that streak alive. You've got this. We'll see you here on Monday, and I look forward to seeing you there. Glad to have you on my journey, and I'm glad you have me on yours. I love you all, and we'll see you next time. Tough out. Maybe. These gloves are supposed to be able to work on a screen. Evidently not. Anyway, love you all. Bye.